Okay, now. Uh,
Hey Pam,
what
question.
happened?
Um, we probably need to put the waiting room back out there.
How do I, oh, put the waiting room back out?
Yeah, we're gonna have to. Um,
Well, what was that? I couldn't, I hit everybody on mute and I also tried to hit all the cameras off and it didn't.
that that's a hacker. He hacked in. There's no telling what type of software he has. But yeah, he hacked in. So yeah, we're gonna have to put that security measure back on. So when they hit the link on the calendar, um, they're going to the waiting room, and we'll let them in. So did you have to let me in just now?
No, you were here. You were here before Brent and I were.
Okay, so yeah, we're gonna have to. Yeah, we got to put the security back on, the password. So when they log in, I guess now, um, wow, how would we do that?
I've never seen anything like that. That
No, I
was
mean
a real person? That was a real person doing that?
that's a real person, and
Right.
you know what? I've heard of this happening
I have to.
because when Zoom first started, people started using it first. I mean, during this pandemic thing, they were asking, people were popping up in classes and all that kind of stuff, doing stuff like that. So I'm wondering now for the people how would they get the password?
Right.
Am I supposed to hit go live on Facebook again, y'all?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
You can.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess Brent. How would they get the password? Or because it's kind of late in the game. I, ooh, I'm trying to see.
Yeah. I'm trying to think about, because this is the first time they say, but I've heard it's happened to people before. I'm gonna have to Google that and see if I can figure out something and talk
Yeah,
about
we
it.
got to see if we can hang them up real quick. Because right now we late in the game, and if we change up the game, we're gonna lose a lot of people. If we have to go by sending, like, we have a roster of all the people that participated, we could send them the password. But what about the new people that want to come out
Yeah.
and join?
Yeah.
They'll only be able to join through Facebook, and they won't be able to join through Zoom.
Yeah. We'll have to put some thought process to
Yeah, we got to
that.
put a thought process into it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, I've heard of it happening before, but it's never happened
To me. Yeah.
Yeah, my wife was saying some call with some that she heard somebody talking about that. And Pam, I know one thing that we can do on Facebook. We can trim that video that's on there now. I mean, at whatever point Facebook has to where you can just trim it down, and we can take off that.
Yeah, we can take that stuff off. Yeah, we can.
I gotta see if we're still live streaming because I don't know exactly how to start it. Let me just ask Casey. Check to see if we're still live streaming, please.
So Brent, they will let.
Did I do the right thing?
Yeah, allow her to go back in and edit it, right?
Say it again. What, me, Fred?
No, let Pam. I'm listening to Pam.
Okay.
Well, did I do the right thing by cutting it off, ending the?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. You had to. Yeah, you had to. Yeah. Best thing. Yeah. Because I don't. Ain't no telling what these virgins' eyes of mine would have saw. This guy he was very explicit. God.
Well, let me ask this. Do you think the other three people who were on were with him?
No.
But it's just been the three of us all along. Then all of a
No,
sudden.
it was the three of us all along. This guy popped in then because it was just us four.
Yeah.
This
We lost
Justin.
Kenta earlier. He said he had to go on. So it was just the three of us. But when this guy came on, Brent, he came on with three people, remember? Because you were just about to welcome them.
Right. Yeah. So
Oh,
yeah. So I'm guessing that maybe all three of them. Unless it was.
wow.
Yeah. Yeah. That was crazy.
And we know that we know he hacked the system because he was able to actually draw on the board, which everybody else is functions are disabled to do that. He was actually able to share his screen
Right.
and
Right.
see. So he's a hacker. That's a hacker. Uh-huh.
That was scary. I'm just gonna say.
Yeah, it was. It was.
No.
It
No.
was.
I mean, yeah. That's weird.
I thought we had no control of anything, so.
We didn't. We didn't have control of him at all. Because the
Yeah.
only way you could have got rid of him, you couldn't have hung him up the way he got in. I'm thinking
Yeah,
because we didn't give him any kind of controls. He had controls to everything.
yeah.
Justin, if you're listening, yeah, it's crazy. Wow.
Brent, do you think you can, I also can't, I asked Casey to check if we're live streaming. Fred, can you check to see?
Yeah.
Live stream?
We're not live streaming because it would show. You see where it says recording. It would say Facebook live streaming.
Yeah.
But if you go to on your right, you see those three dots on your right. It should like say more,
Yes,
and then there should say something that says share on Facebook.
Uh-huh.
see, it says stop live stream is what comes up, and I don't want to hit that.
Okay. Let me check. It's not saying
Mine says at the very top, it says recording, and then it says live preparing. And then the Facebook is still up on my computer, but when I tried to start another Facebook, I couldn't do it.
Yeah. I would say just hit whatever button says share on Facebook, and
Yeah.
that'll get us in there.
Okay. Well, it seems, this says we are sharing on the bottom on my screen. When you hit more, what comes up? When you hit those three dots more on yours,
It
what
should.
comes up?
Let me. I might have to try it on another computer since I don't have.
Oh,
Let me see.
Let me grab okay, you got yours free.
see, mine says we are live streaming.
Okay, see, okay.
Oh, well, okay, just a moment. I just lost it. I know I did. So let's try it again. All right, so I'm gonna go live on Facebook. And I'm sorry, y'all, I've not ever done the Facebook. Casey normally does it. But let's just see what I need to do. Ay, caramba.
And I told you wrong because you have to hit share on there. So it is sharing on there. So yes, you do have to go to Facebook and you're gonna have to create another post and then hit go live. I'm sorry, I forgot you have to do that step.
So choose how you want to set up. I guess I want to use the stream too. All right.
You use oh goodness, I forget. What are the other options besides stream key?
So get started. Use stream key, use camera, or use paired encoder.
Encoder. Stream key would be.
Let me just see. 1 minute.
Okay. Let me grab another computer.
No, we're not streaming yet.
And I'll help you out to see.
It's actually showing Brent. Let me just call Keith. He's not answering me. I'm sorry, y'all, but it is just us, and I'd rather try to find that audience. Oh, it's a big delay.
Okay, let's figure this out.
I fell off of a live stream. We got hacked. and someone was sharing the screen and writing all kinds of profanity. And so, oh, it was just bizarre, Casey. They had our names, they were.
Okay, I just went out to the live, Facebook Live. It's still out there. No, we're not, but we probably need to trim that video soon
So how
or
do
take
I
it down.
on Facebook Live so Brent could start again?
In the bottom right of your Zoom window.
Yeah, I hit that.
Okay, so you see Go Live or Facebook FB Live.
Yeah. So it says, I'm on that and it says, get started. Do you want to choose Stream Key or Paired Encoder? And I assume Stream Key because it's blue.
I've never seen either of those, so I don't know. It should, well, as soon as you hit that Facebook Live, it should pop up over to a browser. That's your browser.
Well, when
And I'm doing it too. So I have
Brent's trying to.
Yeah.
So there is a server URL, live stream setup, server URL, and there's a stream key.
I don't know.
let's see which one we need.
Y'all finally got that. I really thought it was gonna happen much quicker. Putting all that information out there. Let's see.
Okay, so this is okay. So all right. So let's see.
Just 1 minute. See, the problem is when I hit more right now, it says stop the live stream.
Right.
You may not have canceled the live stream.
But at the top of the screen, it says recording, and then where it says live, it says preparing. Preparing.
We'll start there. Let me see.
Oh Lord, it'd be weird if we're sitting here live and everyone's listening to us just.
Answer that. It says you were live.
Oh, we're not out there.
You're not live.
We're not live, okay.
We're not live.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, you would use Stream Key. Is it showing on your Facebook page right now on your computer?
I'm seeing Casey Jones. I see on my computer. Can I share the screen? Let me share the screen.
Let's share it.
Okay.
Oh, we're not live because I'm looking at the art the Facebook now.
Right.
So
Because
we're not out there right
the
now.
back end on Facebook, it should, once you share your screen, we'll see if it's showing on there, and then all you have to do is just hit the go live button. But let's see.
Okay, so do you all see what I see right now?
Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So up here is waiting for live video.
Right. Okay.
And
So
then
I would say,
down,
yeah. So I would say go ahead and stop the stream on Zoom. And then we'll just restart that process.
Yeah.
And then we
okay.
should be good to go because this
Wait just a
should be
second.
good.
So weird. Okay, let's do the more. And now do under the more, can you all see that I don't see I see stop recording. I see live on Facebook, and you're saying, yes, hit this or don't hit this.
Yeah, hit live on Facebook.
Okay, let's try this again.
Okay.
Now,
Okay.
That would open up in Facebook. It's going to ask you where you want you to stream, and you have to hit report.
Yeah.
As far as counts on the list.
okay, so the first option says go live. The second option says choose where you want to post your live video.
Yeah. We're good now. Pam. Go to share on your timeline, click on that button.
Okay, share on
Then we're
timeline.
gonna share on a page you manage. So scroll down.
Manage,
There we
hit
go.
that. Okay,
Okay, and you can click that, and then you can go ahead and pick the Shrek page. So
Okay, see?
scroll down a little bit, scroll down a little bit more.
Won't go
Let you-
down. Oh,
okay, yeah, let you scroll down in that though. All
okay.
right, so
Regional Arts Council.
perfect. Okay,
Okay,
then hit next.
okay.
And you'll see one more click after it's set up.
Oh yeah, we're good to go now.
And once you go live, I'll go in and edit on.
You edit all the other stuff out?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll go in and put the right host name and stuff like that. You can go ahead and resume, and I'll handle the Facebook Live once you hit live in a second.
I don't hit that arrow? You don't want me to hit that arrow in the middle
On
there?
the arrow, on the left-hand side, there's a blue button at the far bottom.
Go live?
Can you scroll down there?
I see go live, the blue button that says go live?
Yeah.
Click
Yeah, that's the button we need. But you probably have to add a title and description real quick.
You'll add the title? Okay.
I'll do that. Y'all just get back to going.
So now I'm on go live again.
All right.
All right, we're good.
Are we up?
Minimize this and go
Yep.
back to y'all's meeting.
Oh, wait, it says setting up your meeting for Facebook Live. Just 1 minute. Let me just please make sure.
Okay, don't close it. Do not close this window. Just
I'm not. I'm just gonna stop screen sharing now.
Perfect.
Okay, meeting is now streaming live on Facebook. Okay, thank you, Casey, very much. Bye-bye. Okay, thank you, Brent. All right, we're back.
We're back. Yes, Facebook world, sorry for the mishap we had earlier. Let's get back to this great workshop.
Now, did I lose you all?
We here.
Oh no, we're here. We're
You're
here.
ready to go, right?
You ready? Okay.
Yep.
Turned on, that's nice, okay. I'm gonna mute out.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So we're gonna get back into it. We had a little snag, but that happens sometimes in production. So we're gonna keep pushing on. Let me go ahead and pull up my PowerPoint here. And we're gonna discuss, we're gonna go from the top of what we discussed, and then we'll talk about just one or two more things, and then we'll be good. And I'll open it up for some questions or for some responses. So let me go ahead and share my screen again. All right, so in the beginning of our conversation about the art of pre-production, the first thing we talked about, I'll just go through this real quickly. Forming your company, you want to make sure to have a actual legal organization for your production company. We talked about the preliminary budget. You want to make sure that you know where the money is going. Doesn't matter if you have a $500 budget or a $500,000 budget. You want to make sure that you have that written out and you know where the money is going. Also, you want to make sure that after you figure out your budget, you'll see if you'll need volunteers or if you'll be able to hire different professionals to do it. But you want to create your team. You want to create every spot that you need on your team. If you have a smaller budget, you may have to ask for volunteers. If you have a larger budget, you can get every position that you need to get. So you want to create your team. So once you create your team and you create your core team, you create your, you have your director, your producer, your script writer, your screenplay writer, your script writer, and you want to go ahead and get those meeting of the minds, and make sure that you have all of those figures for the creative planning. And like I said earlier, this is what we love as creative and artistic people. Some of the other stuff, some of the business and logistics, the budgeting, that's not necessarily the fun part, but the creative planning is where we sit down and we focus on what the vision is, and we find out how we're going to create that vision and how we're going to make it happen. And also the good thing about forming your team and having these creative planning meetings, you're able to feed off of each other and have that energy to say, hey, well, look, somebody had this idea that you didn't think about. So that's what we do in the creative planning process. All right, so once you have that creative planning process, you know what type of roles you want to fill, you know what type of interviewees you want to have. It's time to identify those people. It's time to make those calls, say, hey, look, I want to use this person, I want to use this person, and really hone down and say, well, look, for each role in this film, I want to make sure to have this character needs to look like this, needs to act like this, talk like this. This character needs to do this. So this is the time that you identify that talent. If you're doing a documentary, this is the time where you sit down with the team and say, well, look, who is going to help to convey the story that we need to convey, or convey the history or the information that needs to be conveyed. All right, and then after you identify those people, and this is more specifically for if you're looking to do a film or you're looking to do a scripted show or something where you're going to have talent portraying different roles. You want to hold auditions. As I said earlier, holding auditions really opens up so much. It opens up people outside of your circle. Even if you're if you're a part of an Actors Guild or part of a production company where there is talent, it's still good to hold auditions, because there may be some talent, you know, that you've never heard of. There may be some young talent that you've never heard of, or even even in some of our productions, we've had people from other cities, from Dallas, Houston, New Orleans, I mean, Mississippi, Arkansas, anywhere in our region, we've had people to audition for different roles, and they actually fit that better than the initial people that we thought of. So always hold auditions. And again, I said holding auditions is very, very important, because you're also building momentum for your project. And that's something that we always need, even in the pre-production stage. In any stage, you need that momentum, you need that energy. And when you're holding auditions, you get the team together, y'all are excited, because now y'all are gonna see who's going to be able to convey this message, who's going to be able to push the narrative that we need pushed in this specific project. So you definitely want to hold auditions. And then we even found out that a couple of productions, we might hold auditions, and for the top role, we might have 4 people, and then we pick the top person. But then years later, we've sometimes hired some of those other people that we didn't pick to do other productions. So at the same time, you're building your network as well. And even ironically, even sometimes in holding auditions for people that we didn't select, we've actually produced different projects for those people. So holding auditions is very important. And then we also talked about after you do all of those things, then it's time to start to secure your rentals, your props, your locations, your permits, your licenses, your contracts. And as I stated before, and right before we went to break, I was going to mention about contracts. That's one thing that you definitely want to do. I should have mentioned it earlier, but you definitely want to have everything in writing, black and white. We don't want to do the, hey, we're shaking hands, or hey, we're verbally talking about it, or hey, this is how much I'm going to pay you, this is how much I need you to do. No, we need everything in writing. So a lot of times what you want to do, you want to make sure that every person that's on your team has something in writing so that they can understand their position. And so if there is a time for accountability, you can say, well, look, this is where you signed the dotted line. This is what you said you're going to do. I need you to do it. Or either we need to find somebody else because you're not doing what you said you were going to do. So make sure that you have everything in writing. Even for your talent, you want to have in writing their roles. You want to have in writing their rehearsal time. You want to have in writing how much they will receive in compensation, or if they're going to get parts of the actual production. So you want to make sure, like I say, everything is in writing. Even when it comes down to hiring your production staff, you want to make sure to say, hey, video editor, hey, I have this agreement for you. Making sure that you understand that this is our film. This isn't your film. This is our film. We own it. You're just editing the film. Also, in those contracts for everybody, you want to include a non-disclosure, because you don't want your ideal stolen because somebody else on the team put it out there. So you want to make sure to have an NDA, non-disclosure agreement, saying that, hey, look, this is proprietary information. You can't convey this to anybody else. This is our project. All right. So you want to make sure they have all of those things in order. And even when it comes down to the script, you want to make sure that you have that copyrighted and legally bound to say, hey, that you own it. All right. So back to securing, we were kind of talking more about the contractual parts, permits and all of that, but let's talk about the rentals. We talked about that real quick. If you're looking to, if you're doing your production and you need to rent some equipment, you definitely want to do that at that point. You want to go ahead and say, well, look, I need to rent this camera for 5 days, or I need to rent this microphone or this lighting. And going back to, that's one reason why you want to have a legitimate business, is because a lot of times these rental companies, they want insurance on their property. So you're going to want to have some insurance on there. If you borrow a $10,000 camera and something happens to it, you want to have a way to compensate that company so that they don't come for you. And then as far as having a formal business, that way they come for your business, not you personally. You want to have your props, depending on what type of production you're looking to do. You want to make sure that you have your props secured. Again, locations. You want to have your locations secured. You've had your creative planning meeting. You guys have talked about it, all the different locations, what you're seeing. Now it's time to secure those locations. And it's very important to do that because some locations do require a fee. Some require reserving. So you want to make sure that you're on point to reserve those locations. And then last thing, permits. We talked about permits and licensing and contracts. You want to make sure that you have the correct permits to film where you want to film, have the correct licenses to use the different things that you need to use. All right, so then we get to the last step, the rehearsals and final prep. And we'll stay here for a little second because this is, of course, super important. You don't want to get to your filming day, especially when it comes to a short film or a featured film, to where your talent and your director don't understand the direction of the project. So that's where the rehearsals come in. That's where you say, hey, well, look, we're going to spend a month just rehearsing the script, just in a location. I want you to get your emotions out for the script right here in this location. Because when we get on camera and we have all those people around us, you have to get that same emotion out. So rehearsing is extremely important. That's a part of that pre-production that really pulls out the different things that need to be pulled out for that production. So you definitely want to rehearse. I know on a few projects, we spent up to 2 months just rehearsing. We would have a rehearsal every week, or we would schedule different rehearsals with different talent. Or sometimes we even schedule different rehearsals for different scenes. We would say, okay, so for scene 2, we're going to rehearse this day, because we wanted to make sure that once we said cameras rolling, sound rolling, 3, 2, 1, action, that those talent people, those actors and actresses were best prepared to really convey not only what the director wants to convey, but what the screenplay writer or the person that came up with the concept, what they want to convey. So rehearsal is extremely important. And then also that builds the chemistry with the different talent and the production staff, because there is a chemistry that you always want to have. You want everybody to feel comfortable and to feel empowered and to feel like they can be on their A game and they can convey the best performance for what you need. So rehearsal is very essential for that, especially between the main talent and the director, and even the other talent, but definitely the main talent, the main speaking roles, the main roles that are really going to be putting out those expressive moments. It's very important that they have a good relationship with the director, because at some points the director may have to really get on them. And you can always get on somebody a lot better when you have a good relationship with them. So that's what the rehearsal stage does. It creates that type of synergy between the different team members to where, hey, look, I can trust that director because we've rehearsed. That director has a passion for this. That director knows me. That director knows how to pull the best out of me. And you'll hear a lot of people in Hollywood talk about, hey, I love that director. They love those directors because they are comfortable with them. That director was able to pull something out of them. And this is the time to do it. Of course, on screen, that's the time to do it as well, too. But in these rehearsals, that preparation, that pre-production of even the acting part is very essential. And then, of course, we have the final preparation. So just like with everything else, you're going to fine tune everything else that we talked about. So let's just go back real quick. So we're going to fine tune the budget at this point. So at first we had the preliminary budget, but now it's time for us to fine tune the budget, because like any other project, there may be some additives that we needed for that budget. Instead of the budget being $10,000, now we may need 12, because we found out in the creative process that we wanted to add something, and we found out that that's how much that would be. So you always have that point of reflection in that pre-production process. You're going to reevaluate. And honestly, sometimes you may reevaluate everything, because there are so many dynamics to a production, especially when it's a larger production. There's so many different things that can really be variables that may need to be changed. But the first thing is to make sure that that budget is right. Then you want to even reevaluate the team. Make sure the team is in lock and ready for the actual production days. You don't want to come into a situation to where communication was not where it needed to be, and somebody's not ready to on the production date that was set. So you want to reevaluate and really kind of re-synergize the entire project and say, well, look, let's make sure that we're on point for these days. You also want to you want to look at the creative process. Maybe by this time, after you've done a few rehearsals, you're seeing that one scene just isn't as effective. Or even on the flip end, you may have had a few rehearsals with your talent, and your talent brings out something else in your project that you didn't even see. That happens sometimes. You can ask those people in Hollywood, they might have a screenplay, and then Denzel comes out and busts out in a scene, and he does something improv in rehearsal, and that may have been one of the links that they didn't have. So you want to always have that in your mind too, when it comes to that reflective moment at the end of the pre-production process. Because you have to really look at this until this thing is solidified and it's able for viewing. It's a working project. It's working. It's working. It's a moving project. So things will adjust, things will move in those reflective stages. And then after you've done all of that, then it's time to go ahead and get ready to make the big production happen. After all of that final prep, all of that, those conversations, that communication, then it's time to say, well, look, it's time for us to make this happen. And that's what we're going to talk about next week. How do we make these things happen? Whether some of the technical, we're going to get pretty technical next week. So definitely invite some of your more technical people that want to know some things about how to make this happen, how to make these projects, these short films or these documentaries happen. So now to my favorite part, I always love to leave some time for this. It's my questions and comments time. So anybody, I'm going to pull up Facebook as well, or even if you want to put in the chat, if you have any questions or any comments, please let us know.
I don't see any in the chat quite yet.
Okay.
So I'll ask the question. With all of that, your production budget, your artistic talent, the props, the costumes, the organization, what's October the 24th going to bring to this whole state of Louisiana in terms of the biggest production ever? And Felicia, you can come on and let us see your face as well as Brent brags about this.
Oh man, and of course we are deep in on the production end, and it has just been a joy working with all the people that we've been working with. I'm really excited about October 24th. I'm going to be smiling from ear to ear. I'm going to be nervous too, but I'm going to be smiling from just ear to ear. I mean, it's just so many. I mean, we know how important art is to just everything, to just our being. And that creative process. So we're going to understand from a historically Black college and university standpoint of how art is so important. We're not just talking about just visual arts, not just singing, theater, dance. We're combining all of those together, and we're using some awesome people from both Southern University, Shreveport, formerly SUSBO. I know when I was growing up, it was SUSBO. But we're using some awesome people from that school, and then also from down the road, just an hour away, off of that Grambling exit, we're using some great people from Grambling State University as well. We're going to hear from some awesome people, some awesome talent as far as their stories in the documentary part, and then we're going to get to the performance at the end, and it's going to be breathtaking. You're going to enjoy it so much, and we'll have even a little social twist to it, social justice twist to it as well. So we're really just excited about this production. It has been awesome. So I can't wait for everybody to see it. I mean, I'm just lighting. So this is what we love to do. So the creative arts, and this is the process that we've gone through for it. So and then we will even talk about Felicia. I see the claps. So you know your sister is awesome. So we've just had a great time doing this, and I think people are going to enjoy this, and this is going to really be something that's going to stand a staple for our HBCUs here in Northwest Louisiana for a long time. And Pam, that was my short answer. That was a short answer.
That's exciting. Very, very exciting. We're all can hardly wait. Thank you.
Awesome. So let's see. I don't see any other questions or comments. Well, thank you all so much for everybody that has tuned in. If it's on Facebook or even if you're watching the replay, and if you have any questions or anything, please feel free to reach out to me. Visit our website, message me, all that good stuff, and I would love to talk with you. And we're gonna make it happen from there.
All right, well, let's say going once, going twice, going 3 times. Thank you, Brent, for a fascinating, in more ways than I could ever say, evening. What a way to start the week. Thank you and good night.
All right, good night, everyone.